Okay, well, I've pretty much established that regardless of what I do, because right now I restarted my computer and restarted the router, so the problems aren't there, it's just going to skip a lot. So we'll just have to wait for the YouTube video, because the internet is not a requirement for good recording. So on to Stick Ranger. What I was getting into previously was the fact that, as you see, got my cannons up. Gonna go to good old Snowfield 3. Now you'll notice that they're not going to land any of their shots. And that's because it's funny. Because, well, they're aiming in a straight line, but because of gravity, the projectile is being pulled down. So it's even more apparent when you add something like a catapults card. So it thinks it's aiming with the idea that the projectile is not going to get pulled down by gravity. And as you see, it's just going to hit the ground. So that's one of the biggest complaints that I had with guns, is that such a thing happens. Now the same thing happens to shot bows, but because the projectile moves so fast, it's harder to pick up on. So what I fixed in my mod is just that. When it aims at a target, it actually lands the hits. Let me give a good example. Enough of this. Also, you'll notice that the title of the stream is Weeklies, and that's because I've been trying to start a weekly team where you just roll 4 random numbers in between 1 and 8, and whatever numbers you get are the teams are the characters that you have for a team. And my goal is to try and beat the game in a week. I'm really behind on this. I really started playing it Wednesday. But as you can see, it aims to compensate for gravity. Hooray! So that is why I'm playing it on PC. Most of this is week 2 of my weeklies. Week 1 I did on my tablet, because it's a lot more convenient. I don't even know what I'm trying to do right now. I'm at 43, so I want to beat Oasis, and in order to beat Oasis, I think I'll add a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and we're going to beat Oasis here. No problem. Although I should probably be using the Gladiator to dodge, since it has the most health and the lowest range. Ow. Alright, taken care of. No problem. Map. Town. Alright. The other thing that I fixed is the duration of the flames on fire shot. You'll see that they travel much farther than in vanilla Stick Ranger. So I thought the fire type shot bows could use a little bit of a boost. Get in that poison. I try and organize my weapons by, so from damage, highest to lowest, from left to right, and then if it has a metal, then it goes next. So like the order would go like this. So this is more damage than that, so it goes first, and then onto the metals, and it's in this order. But we're going to use poison instead of fire here, because I already have a fire type ring, and if I have too much fire, then the red eels will get the better of me. Might as well put on some thunder lightsaber, actually. I noticed that lightsaber has a fairly low basic thunder. It's like 1 to 11. So 0 to 15 is a very nice boost. I think Oasis is like 44. What is my next item pickup? Got a pretty good sword here. There's a nice ring. Charge ring is pretty nice. I mean, not charge ring, it's like a charred circle, I think. Anyway, it's a thunder type. I like it. What else is there? As far as bows, no, I'm not gonna pick up another bow until double flame. And that's all for, so just doing a bit of experience farming right now. Let me just check things. Yes, the chat does show up. There's also Nightbot, so there's that. Give me that health. Probably just gonna turn off the gladiator. Give me that. Magic, dexterity, strength. I'm probably going to invest a little bit more strength into my sniper than I usually do. I usually only do 50. But I might do 70 this time. I really didn't mean to fight the boss, but I'll do it anyway. After you play the game for long enough, you start to get a sense of the agility of all of the enemies. So you can do things like I did there, the Oasis boss. And you can also try out your dodging skills on the Seaside 1 boss. Once you get into the rhythm, it's fairly easy, but sometimes there's a abnormal amount of delay, and then it kind of gets you off of your rhythm. See, I'm on a good rhythm right now, but if there's an abnormal delay, then I'll start missing shots. Or taking shots, rather. Anyway, that's just fun thing you can try. Map 44, more Oasis-ness. Any bronze medals would be appreciated, but if not, that's fine too. Move along now. So I got the Quicks card. Level 4 jewels are in Beach, so I'm not there yet. I'm gonna keep all of this. Oh, I do want to pick up... No, I don't really want to pick it up. I was thinking about getting a knockbacks card, but that's only for Forest 5 if you don't have ice-type weapons. Fortunately, I have an ice-type weapon, which is the Ice Circle, which is somewhere around here. I don't know exactly where, but I want to pick it up right now. Lag. Oh yeah, look at that cannon. Bam, just one shot. So good, I love it. I also boosted the silver crystals, so I'll probably make use of a couple of those in But I might not even. Yeah, for Snowfield 7. I think Snowfield 7 has a really difficult boss, which I will use the silver crystals for. Maybe I might just have enough damage with the double fire and bullets 5 card, as well as a grenade launcher. I might use a spirit or 2. I might use a spirit on the gladiator and a white, or I mean silver crystal. Not sure though. You know, that ice circle might be in submarine 3. Yes, it is. Aha. I was right. Submarine 3. Hey, purple crystal. Because purple crystals reduce the duration of effects, I was thinking about making the charms also reduce duration instead of decreasing the chance of being inflicted by said status effect. There it is. Got it. Keep you right there. Oh wait, I also have a ice type sword, so I didn't really need that. But anyway, I am level 44, so might as well do some more clearing in Oasis. Equip this and this. Yes, 54%. And are any of these guys missing health? No, they're not. Yep, that's the problem with too much fire, is that these don't get killed as quickly. Okay, using poison. Next. When I first played this game, the only team that I would use was Sniper, Magician, Gladiator, Gladiator. I didn't like the Boxer because it kept getting so close to the enemies in the opening street that it would just get killed. So I fell in love with the Gladiator and used it ever since. So because I had Gladiator, Gladiator, Magician, Sniper, I would always skip screen 1 of this stage, Oasis, because it had these poison resistant enemies and I was carrying triple poison. So I'd always skip past this and go right to Oasis 3. And then kill everything here, trying to get the bronze medals, and then I would exit the stage and come back and go right to Oasis 3. But now that I have more experience, I just clear Oasis 1, 3, and the start of 4, because they're all grouped up here whenever I'm trying to farm for those bronze medals. And, LP. Okay, I'm 45. I think 45 is Desert 7, Desert 6, this one right here. Definitely going to use Fire Shot here. And I'm going to turn back on the Gladiator. I think these purple zombies are the ones that drop... Oops. I meant to go to option. Are the ones that drop the Thunder type ring. Thunder type charge ring that I am looking for. And that will be good against anything that is Yeah, look at that. It's actually pretty good against flying enemies as well. Yeah, the shot bows aren't great. So when I was trying to balance the shot bows, I realized that if I increase the burn rate so much, or too much, it would absolutely destroy enemies like the opening street boss or Desert 1 and 2 boss, because they have a big hitbox, and it would way out DPS anything like a double fire if I had the burn rate high enough. So really the only things that I could boost were the effect duration of this residue and maybe a little bit of the burn rate, because otherwise it's way too overpowered. I also wanted to add a little bit of homing, but I didn't have the knowledge of how to do that, because Stick Ranger's code has the option to add homing to regular projectiles, aka Guide's card, but it does not have the ability to add homing to the residue. And you might be thinking, hey, what about Fire Greatsword or Flame Greatsword? Doesn't that have homing? It does, but they're actually treated like projectiles, not residue. So things like from the lightsaber, they're all projectile. They're not treated like residue. Don't know why I've had that fire. So there's a little interesting note to consider. I think this boss drops the Longsword's card. Longsword's card is one of the ones that I should make passive. I was thinking about making some of the weaker cards into passives, like the Anger Crown. And you could collect them and have them all in your inventory. And you can have like reflections and big card, and you could, your Longsword's card, have those all in your inventory. And the effect is applied to all of your team. Hey, look, the 9 arrow. One of the things that makes dexterity more effective on physical bows than it is on non-physical bows is the number of arrows there are. That's really, the only thing that sets them apart. That there are more arrows, because otherwise, I mean, dexterity is applied as a static number, not a percent like the gunner. So having a higher attack, like having the 8 to 12 versus 4 to 6 doesn't really matter, because dexterity is a static number. So it's only a couple levels below. So still 45. I'll get to 46 quite soon though. Bam, 46. Okay. Health, magic, dexterity, strength. I'm gonna keep upgrading strength. What is this stage? So the boss is that red snake, and they also have freezing bats. This stage can be a nightmare to try and skip through, because if you get your character that you're dragging to the next sign, if you get him stuck, he like gets permanently frozen. It's worse than Cavern 8. Let me just show you. This stage, if you try and drag him through here and he gets stuck, he's like, it's done. Permanently frozen for the rest of his life. Cryostasis. Alright, we made him. We made it out. Storm! Hello. Hello, health pack. Streaming. How are you? How are you doing? The angel is so dead right now. Off. Where is the angel? Right there. Yep, he's done. Angel's done for. That's what I'm talking about. This freeze trap. Perpetual cryostasis. Terrible. Alright. Let's go back. Heal up at town. Delaying work as per usual. Nice. So that I have like 93% dropped frames. So I'm doing well, but my internet is quite terrible. Sell these things. Desert. So I'm putting only magic into the gladiator, so all of its sustain is going to come from LP, so the physical swords I'm selling because the vampire's card type of build will not give me enough health regeneration to outlast a boss that's taking less damage. So basically a good offense is the best defense. The best defense is a good offense. It's basically how this gladiator's build is going. Are those red snakes strong against anything? I think they're strong against fire. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. This is why I'm doing the weekly teams, so I can learn new things. And to be honest, hey, look, poison shot. To be honest, I'm fine with any team as long as it doesn't have a whipper. Because the whipper is, I don't understand how to use it and I don't like it. It feels like every single whip is viable and none of them are overpowered, which makes it confusing. Although the ice whip is sort of underpowered because it's so hard to land those. I should try and fix that up in this mod. Because really all this mod is doing is trying to make the weapons do what they were born to do. Alright, let's not get frozen to death this time. Back up, retreat. Retreat. And the good old gunner, I've rolled a gunner 2 times now. So my previous team was a whipper and some other ones, and a gunner. Whipper, gunner. I don't even remember. Magic, yes. Dexterity. And more strength, yes, please. Also, that boss really hurt. Totally not paying attention, just letting all of the stickmen continue to their death. Lots of things to sell here. Sell. I don't know why I still have the flame sword. Go to Desert 8. Yes, lots of good experience farming here. I'm not going to get the 3-round burst, because this round I'm going with the cannons and the grenades. I have no idea where the grenade is, where the next one is. I know there's one at Snowfield 5, but anyway. I'm gonna hold on to these. Oh wait, I need to pick up another poison shot. Need to pick up another poison shot so that I can have one for DPS and one for farming. I totally forgot about poison shot when I was going through the weapons of interest. Let's see here. Poison. So, health pack, since you have no idea what this game is doing. So far, I've gone from opening street to the first mega boss castle, through these to the second mega boss, submarine shrine, and right now I'm in the desert area. Right now I'm going through oasis and underwater stage. Right now they're these eels. So eels are the enemy body. It has this little trail behind it. And the bluish, purplish ones shoot snowflakes, which will freeze you. And they're also strong against ice and freeze type weapons. It's like they're strong against their own element. And these red eels shoot fire, and they're strong against fire. So I'll equip a poison bow to get those. And then the green eels are strong against poison, and they also shoot clouds of poison that will poison you for like maybe a second. Not very long. Right now I'm letting the gladiator hang back because it has a really short range and will get frozen easily. So it won't be outputting much damage. Also, don't be weirded out if someone new starts following you this afternoon, evening. It's Jess using her personal Twitch handle because she wants to keep art streams separate from the video games. Alright, I was wondering why I haven't seen an art stream in a while. I have to make sure I follow back. Alright, we got the bronze medal. So most of the enemies in Stick Ranger don't have strengths and weaknesses against certain types of elements. There are 5 elements. There's physical. The stream is just black for me and there's no audio. Yeah, I'm having really bad internet problems. 93% dropped frames. So this is going on YouTube, so you can watch it later. Anyway, yeah, most enemies do not have strengths or weaknesses to certain types of elements. And there are 5 elements. There's physical, there's fire, there's poison, there's thunder. So fire and thunder are like the big damage. Physical is also the damage source. Oh, I just lost the angel. There's also ice, which slows down enemies. There's freeze, which stops enemies, but has a much shorter duration. So freeze, well, anyway, and then there's poison, which does damage over time, and it turns them green. So ice and freeze turn them blue, and poison turns them green, like you can see here. So with ice, you can change the effect. So this is a slow 35%, and you can change that with like an aquamarine. So that's plus 15, so it goes from 20 to 35%. And you can increase damage with jewels. With thunder, you can only increase damage. With fire, you can increase damage and duration of the flame. With freeze, you can only increase the duration of the freeze. And physical doesn't have any jewels. But to show you an example, let me just buy the Oasis book. So you see it's strong against ice and freeze, and weak against nothing. Strong against poison, strong against fire, strong against thunder and freeze. All of the bosses are strong against freeze, that way you can't just freeze lock it and kill it. With the exception of a few, like this boss, which is not strong against freezing. Costa and Jess stopped doing artwork on Tuesdays, then Jess got a new laptop and Jess has to buy new art software because Costa lost the software code from Manga Studio and can't find it. So bye bye $50. Aw man, that is tragic. Good old Costa. Give me some of this and this. Rip my organization. Okay, so in Desert 8 is an interesting type of enemy that spawns other enemies. So these mama spiders will start spawning little baby spiders. And if you kill them quick, then it won't be much of a problem, but if you let them spawn, then they can become overwhelming. Just not to me, because I'm good at the game. Alright, these hurt. These do like the 50-ish damage. So they're effective against teams with priests, because priests only have a low-ish dexterity aura. I mean defense aura. So that's where the silver crystals come in. I buffed the silver crystals so that even a team with a priest with a defense aura could make use of said crystals instead of just using a green stone. Anyway, magic, dexterity, strength. Usually I don't do these screens of Desert 8, but I feel like doing them right now. Hopefully we'll get some health. So the white objects that dropped, I used to think they're houses because they look like little tents. The little house, or the door, the entrance right here. They are rice balls, which give you 20% of your health back. And it's not 25, or it's not 20% of your remaining or missing health, it's 20% of your max health. So this guy has 630, and 1/5 of 630 is, well, let me just think about that. So 65 over 5 is like 13. So about 120-ish, 115 maybe, gives you 115 health. Let me see how close my estimate is. Hey look, 3-round burst. I'm not using this time around. And yeah, we'll keep these as they are. Level 48, keep farming Desert 8. In this game, you get 100% experience from enemies that are at your level, so enemies that are level 48, I'll get 100%. But for each level difference, you get 10% less. So any 49 or 47 level enemy will give me only 90%. And a level 50 enemy would give me 80%. And anything that's level 58 or 38 will only give me 1 experience. So the minimum is 1. Doesn't go to 0. And Desert 8 is definitely a good stage for getting experience. I don't know why I'm keeping this gun, I never use it. It's the only one that costs 0 to use. You can see these little gold numbers, 36, and the cost is 50, so 50 minus the 14 magic is 36. So the cost for this is 0. And regardless of how much magic you have, the cost cannot be reduced below 1, with the exception of the starting gun. So if you're completely out of gold, you can go to the starting gun. Look, 126. See, that was close to my 115 guess. So if you're out of money, you can return to the starting gun and you'll still be able to shoot. Because if you're out of money, you'll see this animation where he's getting like the recoil of the gun, but it won't shoot anything. 650. When you invest points, you also gain health. So right now it's 238, 240, 242. So you get +2 life points for every point you invest into dexterity for the gunner. With something like the angel, if you put points into strength, you'll get +3 health, because it's more of a melee class. Although technically it's range, because it can use the catapults card, which increases the range. So it's kind of a mix. But if you put points right into LP, life points, you'll get +8. For the gladiator, it's +10 since it's melee. But for the gunner and sniper, it's +8. Go to the town. Sell all this. And 49, so that's beach 1. I will get some rubies here, which is great. Organization is hard. There we go. Oh, organizationals. I'm back. My phone kept kicking me out. Yeah, the stream is not doing well. The internet is quite poor. Definitely putting this on YouTube. For sure. In the meantime, though, I have to eat. So there's a lot to this game, and there's very little explained. So it's kind of a steep learning curve at first, but after you get used to it, it's a lot easier. And of course there's no tutorial, you just go right into it. Are you going to be able to join us for Divide and Sunder tomorrow? Maybe. Maybe. I won't be able to join as early as like a 7, but probably closer to 8. Probably join in. So when I joined the game, there is Opening Street and there's Grassland 1. But I was never able to beat the Grassland 1 boss, so I don't know what was past it. But I do remember the addition of the town. So I started playing before the town was out. Paul keeps saying it's going to be a goodie, especially since all we did was last time was 3 hours of battle. Alright, sounds exciting. I'll definitely try to tune in, and I'll see if I can catch up at all. by watching the previous stream of Divide and Sunder. So these flying dragons drop topaz. So I'm going to try and pick up a topaz too. You know what's really good? Nutella and pita. Very good. Love it. That's what I'm eating right now. Hey, look at that topaz. Beautiful. Next rupee I pick up, I'm definitely gonna put on the fire shot. Still don't like fire shot. No. So Beach 1, the advent of Beach 1 came with the introduction of a new type of attack where if you, so the regular eels, they drop this shape where they're standing, and there's a bit of a delay before it's active. So that's a new type of attack. And the boss itself actually shoots out the attack. Now, it wasn't until recently. Nutella is not so good in Jess's opinion. Gasp. Blasphemy. I love Nutella. It's like hot cocoa, but in a spread. Man, I love Nutella. Anyway, back to this nice circle. So, it wasn't until recently that the projectile actually had this dimming effect, I guess, where it's dim, but when it flashes red, that means it's actually active. It used to be the solid red the entire time. So you just had to be cognizant, oh gosh, lag, of when exactly it was going to become active. There wasn't any kind of visual representation. So there's a too hazelnutty. Oh well, you are entitled to your own incorrect opinion of Nutella. And that's okay. So there are very few changes in Stick Ranger that were retroactive. It's mostly adding new content and almost never changing existing content, which is why bugs like the one that I mentioned still exist, where the projectiles flat out miss. There was also a bug on mobile version where charge ring only cost 20 magic to use, so that was way overpowered and awesome, but it also lagged out my tablet because there are so many of these red balls popping up. So this meter is the magic meter, and every time blue meter fills up all the way, it triggers the magical effect. The Charge Ring 2's magical effect is a fireball that goes around following enemies and dropping little clouds of gas. While the lightsaber's effect starts glowing whenever it activates, so it turns on. So even though it's a 100 magic cost, and I have 45, so that means it takes 3 hits to turn on. It can stay on, because the duration for which it is active is longer than the time it takes to swing 3 times with the sword. Should I put it on the ice circle? Is there a good ice type sword coming around? I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on the ice circle. Sure, why not? Boss. So this boss has the Garnet, which increases fire duration, and the Peridot, which increases poison duration. Neither of which I use much of, because I think the damage increase percentage-wise is better than the duration increase. So that's why I stick with emeralds and rubies instead of garnets and peridots. I'm not gonna bother with freezing with this team. Okay, Beach 3. Beach 3 is definitely my least visited stage. So those big enemies are resistant to everything, basically. But they're not resistant to physical quite enough. So if the gunner gets a powerful enough shot off, it'll do more than 1 damage, which you didn't see there. But the gunner has the potential to do more than 1 damage. What makes you like Stick Ranger so much? One, because it's sort of an idle game. So I can just throw them in Desert 1 and I don't have to click anything. Don't have to type anything, don't have to press any buttons, you just watch them go. So that's one of the reasons why I like Stick Ranger so much. 2 is because it's so visually fascinating. You got all these moving projectiles going around. And one of the angel's rings shoots lightning all across the stage. I also like it because of the dodging that you have to do, like in Desert 8, like you saw. You have to dodge these projectiles, and there are all kinds of little tactics and strategies you can use, because all of the enemies prioritize whatever character is closest horizontally. So you can have it really high vertically, and as long as it's within the range, it'll shoot at whatever is closest. So all kinds of tactics and strategies you can use to dodge things. Click and drag mechanics in an RPG is definitely something that I haven't seen anywhere else. Because the only way you can control your characters is by clicking and dragging. So there's not a whole lot of decision making in the execution of the fights. So the controls are purely defensive, I guess. Well, almost purely defensive. So I really like that. I also like that it's fairly simple, I guess. There are set rules. Like, thunder weapons are thunder, fire is fire. There's not a there's not too much variation as far as things start getting confusing. So it's a pretty consistent game. And it's very replayable. Like, you can pick different classes and replay all of the stages, which is what I'm doing with these weekly teams. And I feel like there's always more that I haven't quite found out yet. Like, oh wait, this weapon is actually really good. I'm surprised I haven't used it before. And there are also different builds that are viable. Like right now, I'm going with all dexterity in the gunner and magic just so I don't run out of money. On most of my previous runs, I've done a balance of strength and dexterity, so things like the 3-round burst and even the sniper rifle are a lot better with a strength dex build, as opposed to a dex-only build, which is great with these weapons. So in addition to playing different classes, you can play the same classes differently. So the replayability is fantastic. And also, there's definitely nostalgia, since I've been playing this for like 8 years. And the fact that there's no lag, that always makes a game a lot more fun when you're not worried about lag. And you can also play it offline. So you pull it up in the browser online, so you have to have a connection to actually pull up the game, but you can still play even without a connection. So yeah, those are the main reasons. The fact that it's idle, the fact that you have click and drag controls and they automatically fight for you, and the dodging, the almost bullet hell-ish feel of certain bosses, where they're all kinds of crazy projectiles flying everywhere. Replayability, all that stuff is what makes it so fun for me. Even though there's absolutely no storyline, no kind of lore, it doesn't even make an attempt to make the world make sense. It just presents it as is. And I find it very enjoyable. Why do I keep getting lightsabers? Where are they coming from? I'm not even playing Desert 1. Where are these lightsabers coming from? I swear I'm gonna have to rewatch this. I'm still here. Hi, Lightning Lord. Well, I guess you have to sit through lots of lag then. Yeah, still 94% dropped frames. Oh Lord. I didn't leave, I swear. Alright, if you say so. You over here. And it's a very simple user interface. You got your inventory, and you got what you have equipped, and you have the items equipped on the weapon. When you click on the character, it pulls up all the stats. As far as the game itself, you have the health bar of whatever's getting hit at the top. You have the options. So damage effect are those little numbers. So if I turn it off, you won't see any numbers at all, except for the gold cost. If I turn it on for just player, then you'll see the red numbers when I take damage. And if I turn it just to enemy, then you'll see those gray numbers when I'm dealing out damage. Usually I have them for both. But yeah, very, very simple user interface. And pretty much everything you're looking at is relevant. There's not like completely useless information that you're looking at. And again, it's visually fascinating. Looking at all the projectiles. And like, this is the cavern, so wherever your mouse is kind of lights up the stage. Look at that. Next. And of course the fact that it updates. It has updated sort of regularly for the past 8 years, always adding new stages. So it's kind of kept me coming back just to see what the next stage is. And you're kind of never sure what enemies you'll see. So, like, I want to have a variety of weapons in my inventory, just in case there's like a fire-resistant enemy. Then, oh gosh, I need to have poison on me, or I need to have thunder and ice on me. Or maybe there's something that's immune to everything except for physical. Then, oh man, I need to grab a physical bow that I need to have on me for whatever the next update is going to hold. I think that was one of the really fun things about the game when it was coming through the years, trying to make sure your team is ready to face whatever challenge is coming next. Magic. Dexterity, yes. And strength. Over time, I've kind of gotten accustomed to, oh gosh, what works and what doesn't. So I'll be able to go through bosses quickly, so it isn't as much of a challenge as it was earlier. So I don't have to dodge as much. But even the hardest stages were possible if you're good enough at dodging. You could just do a ton of dodging and then let it stay on the ground for a couple seconds just so that it can have time to attack, and then it'll attack, and then you click and drag and continue dodging again. I always thought there was a certain charm to this game because of the click and drag controls. And of course it's really frustrating if you think a boss is overpowered and you have no idea how to get past it. Like Grassland 1, the boss is so hard. I was never able to pass it, but I still thought it was fun to play. It's also because I don't have the patience to do that kind of dodge for 2 minutes and then attack for 2 seconds kind of thing. I just want to start over and try something different until it finally works quickly instead of working slowly. Sell these. Oh, I'm 53. What am I doing farming here? Man, I am off track. Boss. Yeah, what am I doing? I have things to sell. Sell, 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 sell. Don't worry about freezing. Sell, 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 sell. Finally. Fine, I'll keep it. Exit. I definitely want bullets card on this fire shot just to see what it can do, which means I want another fire shot and a ruby. More eating. Another great thing about this game is that the grinding in this game I find enjoyable, and it doesn't have that much grinding. Like, in order to level up, if you're at the proper stage, you really only have to go through it like maybe 4 times, and you've already leveled up. And 4 times is like the most that you'll have to do before leveling up. So experience grinding is very minimal, and grinding for items also. Now, a lot of people apparently will disagree with me, but I think grinding for items in this game is not very time consuming compared to other games that I've played. In the monster encyclopedia is integrated into the stage, which I think is another very unique concept. So I just bought the book for Desert 1. So instead of having these solid red health bars, it'll provide information on the monster. Like what it drops, how much experience, and how much health it has. So the encyclopedia integration is very fascinating. Very unique. One of the things that made this such a good mobile game is that the only controls were click or left click. So really you don't have to add anything to mobile in order to make the controls accessible, because all you're doing is tapping. And the fact that it's semi-idle. Like I mentioned, you can just enter the stage and then just watch your characters go. So the game, that makes the game a lot less exhausting to play. If you know you don't have to interrupt, you don't have to intervene at all, you can just watch them go. So you can like take a break while still playing the game. And there's also a lot of, I guess, min-maxing you can do as far as builds are concerned, as well as micromanagement. Well, in the PC version it's even more so. You can do a lot of pause buffering, click and move, pause. And then you can change weapons while paused. While in the mobile version you can't do that. So in something very difficult, like Lake, if you have very little damage and no defense, the Lake boss is actually quite hard because the projectiles are homing. So you'd have to shoot and then dodge and then dodge and then dodge, then you shoot. And you have to let go, because if you don't let go, they won't have time to build up for their next attack. So lots of, and let it go, and then pause, and then wait for the next attack, and then dodge again. Which you really don't have to do for anything if you have enough damage. Sell. And equip. This and this. Where am I? Cavern 5. Okay. Let's beat Cavern 5. This has the guides card. Ooh. Let me try and defeat this real quick. The cavern stages have a enemy that has a random chance of spawning. And the enemies in Cavern 4, 5, and 6 are extremely strong. So you have to kind of watch out. Poison Charm. Nobody uses Poison Charms. Okay, now to defeat the boss. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. So with the Cavern 5, with Cavern 4, 5, and 6 bosses, they shoot lasers which bounce around. So the longer you fight it, the more lasers that you'll have bouncing around, so the more dangerous it gets. And I'm sure almost anybody who's played Stick Ranger has gotten to the point where they defeated the boss, but as they're trying to get to the map sign, they died. So they had to refight the boss. Guide, like, yeah, fine. Throw it on here. Might as well use it. I have it. And you'll notice that fire, the guides card, does not affect these flames. Next, and boss. Alright, I'm definitely going to pause and switch to a bronze metal weapons. Because this has the bullets 5. Card that, oh, first try, look at that. Look at that beauty. Plus 6 bullets. Yes. Yes, please. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna put it on the shot bow. Because I'm trying to use the shot bow, I want to use it. Here we go. Alright, shot bow. Do your thing. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Visually fascinating. Love it. Magic. Dexterity. Strength. Next. See, one of the things that you can take advantage of is that it's not going to shoot at this, it's going to shoot at this, because horizontally it's closer. Some people might consider that abusing the AI, but I just think it's a tactic. Next. Where's the next cannon? I know there's wave cannon in Snowfield 9, which is after the mega boss. Never really liked wave cannon though. I only tried it like once. I definitely want to dodge these hail missiles because they will slow down. And you'll notice that when it's slowed down, dragging it is less fluid. So as well as decreasing the attack rate, it decreases the movement rate, which means you can't drag it around as quickly. Very interesting. I think this is a very, very unique game. I haven't really played anything like it. Alright, what are we looking at? 230? 230 is probably fine. Yeah, 230 range. Because range is, for the sniper, is base, which is 90, plus 2 times 70, which is 140, plus 90, 230. And the math in this game is very straightforward. So you're like, how do you calculate the agility for the gunner? Well, it's a very simple formula. You take agility, 80 to 90, and you reduce it by 96 times 2%. So it's almost reduce it by 200%, which is reduces it down to 1/3, I think. It's I don't know. I don't know. Let me think this through. Yeah, it's minus 200. Although minus 100% would be because minus 100% would make the agility 0, which is Thunderblade. Love it. So it's minus 2%. 200 is 1/3, 2/3. I don't know how this works mathematically. Let me try and think here while eating. I get it now. So it'd be 200% faster, which is 3 times faster, which is 1/3 of the agility. There, that makes sense. So 1/3 of 90 is 30, and the current agility is 17 to 18. 98. Yeah. Still don't get it. 80 to 90, what's 17 times 3? It's 20, 50. It'd be 50. Okay. I'm still gonna have to think about this. What is this? Magic? Magic. And life. Hey, okay, I'm back now. But I do have to go. Hey, look at all this snow. Beautiful. But the reason it wasn't a third was because of the quicks card. You'll see now that 27 to 30 is definitely 1/3 of 80 to 90. But anyway, so I do need to finish up. Oh yes, look at that fire, melting all the snow. Anyway, I'm going to beat the boss here, which has a catapults card. Yes. Please pick up the health. I gotta make sure I dodge this. This can one hit kill. Team. Do that. Pause. Get this. Ah, no catapults card. That's fine. Alright. It's cleared. Thanks for watching. Bam. There it is. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. Hopefully the recording was fine. Should be. Life. Magic. Dexterity. Magic. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we got up to Snowfield. That's good. Still got Forest, Hell, and the Hell Castle boss to do. That may or may not be recorded because I want to finish up for next week. But next week I will be rolling a new team, and anyone who wants to join in can feel free to roll a team for themselves. Or you can just do whatever team I'm doing. Hopefully I'll get a good one. I haven't gotten one with a priest. Like I said, the previous one, I think, was Whipper, Gunner. Let me look it up. Just the search Discord. Loading. I don't even know what channel it is. Minimize search. Oh, yep, Gunner, Angel. No, wait, that's. No, it was Gunner, Angel, Whipper, Sniper. So this is literally the same. What? No, wait, what? No, but, it, yes. Really, it was. It was Gunner, Angel, Whipper, Sniper, so this is almost the same team. Anyway, hopefully I'll get a priest and a magician in the next one. Anyway, catch you guys later.